Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story that has you rooting for someone and against someone else. You will want to watch episode after episode to see what happens next until it all finishes with a hopefully satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time they're introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We will look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were a good or bad strategist. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. For reference, we are only going to be observing what the TV show is showing us and what story is being told through the show. While secret scenes may be included for extra content, no future seasons will be mentioned as they have no effect on the story being told here. All character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And with that,
39 days, 16 people, 1 survivor.
James Clement was a castaway in Survivor's 15th season, Survivor China, and right out the gate we see that everyone is walking through modern day China as they travel into the wilderness of this beautiful country. We soon learn that the season doesn't have Exile Island. The cast is down to 16 players for the first time since season 12, and they have done it again. They're putting these castaways into the show with just the clothes on their back and nothing else. There are 2 immunity idols in the game, 1 hidden at each camp, and all the players will be participating in a non-religious Buddhist ceremony as a welcome from the locals to China. James is on the Fei Long tribe, and people, namely Amanda, are pleased to have him.
I am so happy to be a Fei Long member because I think James and Aaron are definitely 2 of our strongest members. So I think we're going to be a powerhouse in challenges.
Just looking at James gives people high expectations of him as someone who should be valuable at camp and hopefully in challenges. So it will be up to James to either live up to those expectations or not. Both tribes are given the art of war by Jeff and off they go to their camps. Right away, Aaron says, "I will be leading this tribe," and they won't even know it. It's a fairly arrogant statement as we see James being far more reserved, but sure enough, he is a workhorse as he single-handedly knocks down bamboo trees. We then see Leslie tell him, "Hey, you're awesome."
I think James is amazing. He's like Superman. I've never seen, he just works. I mean, you're an interesting guy. What do you do?
Bury people. Yeah, I'm a grave digger. I like that work because, I'm kind of by myself. That's part of my problem over here now. I'm just used to being by myself. I have to be more sociable and charming.
You know what? Charm is deceptive. You be you, and you'll be fine.
I'm definitely worried about the social aspect. I need to pay more attention to that. So I need to do a little bit more hustling. Hopefully pull out the challenges and make them love me.
James is kind of like a real life Superman so far, if Superman was super buff. Fei Long wins immunity, and that is it for this very short premiere episode. So far with James, our first impression is that he seems quiet and reserved, and it may be a struggle for him to connect with others, but given enough time, this may become a non-issue. I'm personally not worried about his pre-merge game, so I think he's going to be safe for now. By the way, this video was selected and created back in April of 2023 at the request of my patrons on Patreon. Every month they get to pick what story videos I make, and if you want to pick what I make and watch everything up to 6 months early, then consider joining them. Link in the description. Now with that, Episode 2 sees James knocking down even more bamboo trees and basically doing all of the camp's chores by himself. However, John Robert is increasingly becoming a nuisance for the tribe as he is lazy, rude, and he snores a lot. Basically the opposite of what we have seen from James. But what about Aaron, the silent leader? What is he up to? Well, as it turns out, he is lazy, as we see in this secret scene.
Nah, I laid on the raft. That's some bull. Yo, I thought we were supposed to be doing something. I thought you were supposed to be doing something. You need to do the roof and get some fires.
Yeah, we tried and I couldn't do it.
Well, so y'all gonna stop? Dude, you're killing me.
Can you get fire? Can you get fire?
You can, but we probably can't together. You're supposed to be the damn leader. Y'all killing me. We're the only 2 to actually do physical activity. We got a stewardess, we got 2 older ladies that don't do much. We got old boy, he's a card player, dude. He came out here in Louis Vuitton. There's just too much delegating and a whole lot of nothing getting done. Now, I'm not doing all this stuff by myself anymore. They're gonna pull the rope with me. or they all gonna die. I'm moving that cave.
This is the loudest James has been all season, but to be fair, they cut it out from the show. And it's clear that James is not okay with the leader being a slacker, and personally, I think they cut this to keep James likable. But then we cut to the reward challenge where the first tribe to score 2 points wins reward. Amanda scores the first point for Fei Long while accidentally going topless, so when it comes time for James to clinch the win for them,
James and Frosty going at it. Frosty holding on for dear life. Stay long, win.
yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do to live up to those expectations. Plus now, he has fishing gear he can use. Fei Long does win immunity, so we move on to episode 3 where John Robert is snuggling up with the women at night, kind of against their will. Courtney says, "Who am I to keep anyone warm? I weigh 90 pounds. James says, "Stop it, John Robert, you weirdo. You're scaring all the women." Good on James for standing up for them. The next day, James is already catching food for his tribe with the new fishing equipment, and Aaron is like, let me tell you what we should do with this food that you caught.
You're not gonna taste crabby rice from a crab that big. Okay, so there's only so much flavor in one
So
crab.
fine, James caught the crab so he gets to eat it and the rest of us have plain rice.
We don't work like that. I want the whole crab.
I understand
nice and crunchy and crispy and right in my mouth.
We only have one. So
Right,
next time.
I know. I'm just saying this is what I would like.
But I want the damn crab stock to put on the damn rice. You know, I'm the only one that went to Barnes & Noble before we got out here. I'm the only one that actually went and read a survival handbook.
Oh yeah.
I don't eat outside. I don't even like plastic or paper cups. I mean, I don't do nothing outside. This is 4 hours of Barnes & Nobles, and I know more than I feel like Crocodile Dundee out here.
The James hating Aaron storyline is in full swing. One of them actually does work around the camp, guess who that is, while the other does not. Later on, we see a conversation between James and John Robert that they clearly didn't realize others may be able to overhear what they're saying.
And for some reason, y'all buying that prayer stuff. Come on, dude. The people who pray the most sin the most. That's why they praying. Because they know they going to hell.
Courtney, of course, I'm not in with, but I'm not worried about that because she's gonna be first to go.
Courtney do work.
What do you mean she does work? What does she do?
She moves stuff. Courtney be moving, man. I learned.
And plus, you like Courtney. You gotta keep her around. $1 million is one thing, but if you can get $1 million in some ass,
No.
come on, James.
You gotta take care of taking out the trash. And as far as I'm concerned, James and John Robert are the trash.
Wow, I'm gonna guess that they didn't realize that no matter how low you talk, voices bounce off the water. John Robert is clearly the worst one in this situation, but James is making enemies with Todd and Courtney when he really shouldn't be. At the immunity challenge, Courtney single-handedly gets them way far behind when she can't effectively chop the wood or the rope and takes forever to do so. So they lose immunity. Back at camp, Courtney says John Robert and James need to go, but actually she may be alone on this, as the general sentiment is that Leslie is the one who's going to be voted off next, fine by James. So at Tribal Council, she is eliminated in a 6-2 vote.
Leslie, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
Episode 4 sees James and John Robert dominate the reward challenge and win it for their tribe. Now, what's the reward that they won? Locals get to come to their camp and teach them how to fish their waters. But the bigger surprise here is that John Robert knows their language, and it makes his ego even more inflated than normal. James says, here we go again with this guy. At the immunity challenge, they win in large part thanks to James, who scores 2 points for his tribe and blocks 1 point from the other tribe. And thanks to a secret scene, we actually get to see some camp life after the win, and you may be shocked to hear this, but James and Aaron are at odds.
Where's the cabbage? Did you guys cut that up?
I'll cut the cabbage.
So what's in the pot? Water. Okay, and we're doing the fish. Todd, you want to start putting fish in there? Like that. Try and get as much water off as possible, because it's going to spray like that, okay?
Aaron, he has a smug arrogance about himself, but he don't do nothing. He's showing me that's his thing, but he don't do nothing. And it's getting on my nerves. There's so much in this group to where you're just the king.
I didn't ask to be a leader, and I'm not the leader, so why don't put me up on that high horse?
You are the worst leader ever.
Yeah? Okay. Well, then you be the leader. If you can do such a good job, you be the leader.
You suck. You're
And
about
then you're
yourself.
the leader now.
Are you not about yourself?
No, I'm about
You can give a damn about the team. It is about Aaron. He has the master plan to pull all this together, and we'd be lost without you, huh?
Yeah.
Episode 5 sees a possible romance develop between James and, take your guess as to which of the 3 women on this tribe he's in love with. Is it Courtney? No. Is it Amanda? Not quite. Wait, could it be the lunch lady Denise?
Denise really does bust her ass out here. She's the other one that really pulls the rope around here. I mean, you can't beat that. I like women like her. She's a strong, good woman. She's there to compliment you and work with you. That's attractive. I like that. If Denise was 10 years younger or if I was older, whichever way, Denise would be in trouble.
Well then, they would make sloppy joes together if a twist didn't take place that same day where both tribes are told to steal 2 players from the other tribe. It's a weird sort of tribe swap situation. John Who steals James and Aaron. James says once again he has to start from the bottom by himself because he is not working with Aaron. So in essence, he needs to get with these 3 John Who members to vote off Aaron, otherwise he's kind of screwed. On the plus side, they get a picnic lunch to go with their swap, and James says, my new strategy is to do all the camp work and make sure my tribe is strong enough to win challenges, which is kind of just the same strategy he's doing before. Aaron then talks to PG, Eric, and Jamie and says, we gotta vote out James. This guy is guaranteed to go on an immunity run come the post-merge. So, at the immunity challenge, James tries his absolute best, but something fishy is going on when...
Get those discs up onto your map before you can start on the puzzle. There's now a race between Todd, Sharia, and Denise. James, PG, and Jamie. Jamie appears to not be concerned at all. You'd never know there was anything on the line. PG, you good at puzzles?
I'm good at Sudoku.
Sudoku, pay attention.
Yeah!
Fei Long wins immunity!
And then the puzzle girl, the one we were relying, the brain of the thing, she completely cracked and started talking about Sudoku. And that's funny. And then everything's funny. Talking about Sudoku, didn't he?
Jeff asked me a question. What I was going to do, ignore him?
Yes! Yes! I'm not babysitting a bunch of children who just don't want to do nothing and be funny during a challenge. Them girls about to go thirsty. Because I just can't support people who ain't going to try. So they might as well send me home or let, cut one of them girls.
You may be wondering, were PG and Jamie throwing the challenge? Yes, they were. Though James doesn't know this yet, so keep it a secret from him. He just thinks that they're truly that incompetent and don't care about losing. PG then talks to him and says, if you want us to keep you over Aaron, we'll do that. Just say the word. James says, I don't care. Keep Aaron, vote me out. In my opinion, James has let his emotions override his rational thought, not for the better. But then at Tribal Council, a massive plot twist happens.
So I'm judging by the lack of performance at today's challenge that you've decided you can't trust Aaron and James, and you threw the challenge.
Yes, sir.
So, PG, the big assumption you're making is what?
Frosty and Sharia get voted off, and then suddenly we merge. Guess what? Now there's only 3 original John Who members, 7 Fei Long. I wonder who the next 3 to get picked off are going to be. I asked which one of you guys wanted to stay the most.
What kind of sense does that make? What kind of dumb do you take me for?
I mean, we knew that, but for James, this is huge. Any trust they could have built with him just went out the window, and frankly, Jamie and PG should have kept this to themselves. But they didn't, and now James is 100% against them. So, they all go to vote, and...
First vote. PG. Aaron. James. Aaron. 5th person voted out of Survivor China. Aaron. Aaron, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Episode 6 has James realizing his vote out is inevitable. Obviously, they're just gonna throw the next immunity challenge and get rid of him. So he doubles down on making sure his tribe is strong by working even harder than before around camp. Their tribe then loses reward, this time on accident, and in a twist they have been doing this season, Fei Long gets to kidnap James temporarily until the immunity challenge. Since he is with them, he also gets to enjoy the luxurious bathing reward where John Robert is flirting with the women, but everyone hates John Robert because he's such a creep, but then all the women flirt with James, who has not been a creep, so it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition. He is beloved by his old tribe in a way John Robert could only dream about. As part of being kidnapped, James is given an idol clue he is required to share with another player, so he decides to share it with Todd because Todd comes up to him and says, hey, I know you have an idol clue. Upon reading it, Todd says, oh, I know where this is, let me go find it.
You're knocking them down?
Yes, I am.
Knock those down. You want me to get them down? All of a sudden, Frosty comes running over and climbs up. So I go into panic mode of, he's gonna find out, he's gonna see this over, and Amanda's like, get down, Frosty, because she knows about it.
This has to be the worst way in history of getting an immunity idol. Like, honestly, in front of everybody. Todd's young. He's so impatient. I knew something like that was going to happen.
You stop right now. We have to trust him. We don't have a choice. James came down. I gave him the idol. So if James takes that idol, loses immunity, they vote for him, but he uses the idol to get rid of Jamie. We sever the tie between her and Eric. Hopefully at 10 we'll merge and we'll still have our numbers to go strong into the merge.
Well, I cannot stop smiling. And it's all good, because I'm not going anywhere. I have the immunity idol. It's all good, baby. Boy, I need you happy.
You almost killed me just then, James.
That's love, baby. Make you stronger.
This is huge. Now armed with an idol, win or lose, a John Who member should be voted off next. So, at the immunity challenge, James does his absolute best to throw it, but much to his surprise, John Who is now trying to win for some reason, and Denise, a Fei Long, is so bad, he literally can't throw, even though he tries to and he wants to. So they win immunity against his will, and episode 7 sees PG offer James an alliance. She says, hey, come the merge, let's stick together and we can be the final 4. While she is being genuine, any chance of this happening went out the window when they lost that immunity on purpose last episode. And of course, when James found out. And of course, when Todd gave him an idol. He basically tells PG, I don't care. But then, armed with the knowledge of what the idol looks like, he scours the John Who camp and rips off one piece of wood, which is not the idol, so he just kind of throws it to the side. But then he finds the actual John Who idol. He now has 2 at once. He's golden. But later on, Jamie and Eric find that blank piece of wood and she stuffs it in her bag real quick, searches James's bag and discovers this dude has 2 idols. Later on, James sees that the blank piece of wood is missing and says, oh my gosh, if someone thinks this is a real idol and plays it, I'm going to pass out with laughter. But then, it is time. Everyone, drop your buffs.
You are merged.
Oh my god. Oh, black, you guys.
Ninja buffs.
Everyone gets to celebrate the merge with a feast and a show. Nice. Mind you, there's a lot of alcohol given out, which will explain quite a bit of the behavior you're about to see. Like when everyone says what we should name our tribe, and
Black is hay in Chinese.
We can do black something
Black.
or other. We can't do black because then as soon as James is gone, we'll have to change the name.
That did not just come out of your mouth.
Whatever, I was on the yellow team. They put PG and
good on James for laughing and Frosty making a funny point. It reminds me how the original Power Rangers were cast with the Yellow Ranger being an Asian lady and the Black Ranger being a black man. That night we see in a secret scene how everyone except for James, John Robert, and Denise are drunk and partying, though Todd is shown to possibly be the most drunk out of them all based on how much he's like slurring his words and how he's acting. You can see this in episode 10, the recap episode for the season. That's where I got the secret scene. James says, can't we get a little sleep around here? The next day, PG says, hey James, will you be voting with me at Tribal? And while he tells her yes, he really means, no, I'm not. James then talks to Todd, who says, hey, I want you, me, Denise, Amanda, and Courtney in the final 5. James in the final 5 with 2 idols sounds perfect, so obviously he's on board with this plan. But then Amanda says, hey, just to let you know, Courtney's been getting real close to Frosty in a flirtatious manner. We need to keep an eye on that.
If I know that little skinny bitch was that flaky, we would have been got rid of her.
Damn. You don't get friends on Survivor. This ain't love connection. Ain't nobody trying to get a match or relationship. You're supposed to make the strongest team you can, align with some people you somewhat can trust to win $1 million. And stop playing around.
At Tribal Council, James says John Robert talks far too much for his own good, and everyone is tired of hearing him. But James delivers this in such a jovial fashion that even John Robert has to laugh. But now it is time to vote. And
the rules of Survivor state that if a hidden immunity idol is played, any votes cast against that person will not count, and the person with the next highest number of votes will be sent home. That's in the case of a hidden immunity idol being played. This, however, is not a hidden immunity idol.
Oh my gosh.
Any votes cast against Jamie will count. 7th person voted out of Survivor China and the first member of our jury. Jamie. Jamie, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
she played the fake, and I am surprised James didn't pass out from laughter, all things considered. Episode 8 has James once again making fun of John Robert in front of everyone, but this time it isn't laughed at as much as it feels quite a bit more pointed. In fact, John Robert kind of takes this personally. James is being a bully, but his targets this season have all been justified by the show, let's say. So he doesn't come across as much of a villain as he really could be. The next morning, he catches 2 large fishes, and frankly, James's threat level is running high. Amanda says, we have to consider getting rid of him before the final 5 because he gets the final 5 with those 2 idols. He's likely to go on immunity run and just win this thing. Who isn't going to vote for James at the end? I mean, I can name a couple of names off the John Who tribe, but heck, who knows? James's team then wins the reward challenge, and while in a 1,000-year-old Chinese village, they all get another clue for the idol that James already has. John Robert, for the first time, is discovering there are even idols this season and says, wow, I didn't know there was an American immunity idol. Yes, he said an American immunity idol. Todd says, wow, John Robert's an idiot. But then we see a secret scene from the next morning where James talks about his past as a gravedigger.
I'm a gravedigger. I've been doing it my whole life. My dad handed me a shovel at 11 and told me to start working. And that's all I've ever done. I like cooking. I like catching fish. I love providing for people. I mean, that's what I do. It's just right there. It's so simple. All we have to do is stick together and we'll be there.
Later on, we see that Todd is mad that James hasn't offered his idol back. You may be wondering, has Todd asked for his idol back? No, he hasn't, but he's still mad nonetheless. John Robert then confronts James and says, why didn't you tell me you had 2 idols, dude? And James handles this with the grace of a charging bull as he does nothing to make John Robert feel better and proceeds to leave the conversation right after. John Robert says, yeah, I am voting off James next. So we go to tribal council and...
First vote, Jean Robert. PG. James. Jean Robert. 2 votes, Jean Robert. James. James. Jean Robert. Jean Robert. 8th person voted out and the 2nd member of our jury. Jean Robert. Jean Robert, tribe has spoken.
Good morning, good morning. I come to say good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you for that wonderful song, James. After such a glorious start to the day, he says those 3 votes he received at the last tribal have him wary moving forward. And you better believe the idols will always be with him at tribal council. But now with John Robert gone, PG has taken his place as the most annoying person in camp as she tries to micromanage James's cooking. At the reward challenge, they are split up into 2 teams with James and PG having to work together. Oh no, this is not going to be good. And both of them are equally horrible at bouncing a ball on a drum. And by equally horrible, I mean they both drop it 4 times. So after the loss, they go back to camp where PG picks a fight.
I can't believe you ever accused me of giving up at challenges.
Go away.
I did not see your ass strolling back to the mat every time you dropped the ball.
You got nerves. That's why y'all lose. You quick to blame.
I'm the one who was dropping the ball today?
No, I was the only one. It's my fault.
I'm not saying it's your fault, James.
Blame. Please stop messing with me. Because every time you open your mouth, you just speaking nonsense. That's why you lose.
Really? My ass wasn't strolling back to the mat after every time. I raced back to that damn mat. You know, I need to take a walk right now.
PG, she's just stupid. I mean, she really came to me and said that I was the reason why they didn't. It's all my fault. Maybe she's the problem. She's never won anything. I mean, maybe that's a sign. Maybe, you know, not everybody's crazy. You're the crazy one.
Wow, they're both in the wrong. But as I said before, James's behavior is excused in large part due to the targets he aims his attitude at. Remember, PG tried to throw the challenge to get rid of him. That's basically the devil. He then says, hopefully no one in his alliance bites into the proverbial apple and ruins a good thing, referencing the Garden of Eden from Genesis in the Bible. And he says PG is gonna go home next, which would be great, except PG wins immunity, so they have to vote someone else off. And at tribal council, it's Frosty in a 7-1 landslide.
Frosty, tribe has spoken.
With cheeseburgers still on their breath.
Time for you to go.
We move on to episode 11 where Eric talks to James and says, hey, me and PG, we want you with us. It could be us versus the others. And James is like, why would I flip from a 5-person alliance to a 2-person alliance? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I bite into the apple and ruin a good thing? I'm not flipping. I just want to frolic to the end naked.
Right now, the four of us are in the proverbial Garden of Eden. The Lord said, don't bite that apple. If Eve would have listened, they'll still be frolicking naked in heaven. I just want us to frolic naked as long as we can. So don't be tempted by PG and Eric. Don't bite the apple. Leave it alone.
Amanda then talks to Courtney and Todd and says, listen, if we let James get to the final 5 between his idols and possible immunity wins, we're just handing him the $1 million check. He needs to go. Courtney agrees, but Todd says, are we sure? Because PG's actually won a couple of challenges. James has won diddly squat. Almost as if to prove Todd's point about how James doesn't really win challenges, Eric then wins immunity over James. And back at camp, sensing something is up with his alliance, we see in this secret scene, James trying to prove that he is loyal to them to the end.
Sweet Eric, when you brought up to me yesterday about the whole thing with Denise and I hooking up with you and PG to vote off Todd, what was my answer?
I didn't know what you were
I said, you're lying. I said, no, y'all 2 of y'all and 5 of us. Why would my dumb ass go with, why would I take that chance?
Well, bro.
I don't like that. I don't like people lying on me. And for you to go around.
What you're gonna do.
And no, you've been spreading around that I don't know. It might be a question in the air. And then you go lie to me. Keep playing, boy. So don't say that no more. That's the reason why I went through the big performance I had with Eric. I was just merely stopping him from starting mess. I just went over the fact that, no, I'm not with PG and Eric. They're by themselves. Todd, don't you worry about it. Group, don't you worry about it. James is with y'all.
James then says PG is going tonight, followed by Eric at the next tribal council. Amanda tells James, I completely agree with you. But in the situation, with the way James just expressed the way he's feeling earlier, he probably should play one of his idols since he senses something is amiss. So at tribal council, everyone goes to vote. And
if anyone has a hidden immunity idol, now would be the time to play it. I'll read the votes. First vote, Todd, PG, James, 2 votes James, 10th person voted out and the 4th member of our jury, James, the trap has spoken. Time for you to go.
So let's break this down. How was James as a character? James was a lot of fun when he was happy. He laughed, worked hard, and seemed to be genuinely enjoying himself most of the time. However, he clearly has a mean streak in him if something is happening that he deems wrong, and that is where things get a bit tricky because who is wrong in Survivor is a bit of a perception issue. What if what James perceived as wrong isn't actually wrong? The show keeps him in a favorable light all season, and we see how almost every secret scene of him was cut to preserve the hero character they had crafted. I really like James, and I'm glad to know he will get asked back to play because there is no other character like him in the show's history. Out of 20 character moments shown on the show, 15 were heroic and 5 were villainous, making James Clement a hero on Survivor China. Now, how is James as a strategist?
I have the 2 idols. I guess I should have played them. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I kind of caught a feeling, but I still didn't do it. Dealing with those people and trying to hold those Fruit Loops together this whole damn time, it was killing me. You can't be angry with anybody. It's a game. I mean, they played their best hand. They did what they're supposed to do. I rolled the dice too many times, and I just got caught up.
That kind of says it all, but not really. Sure, James completely misread that he was going to be blindsided, and he made solid alliances, but when things didn't go his way, the dumb strategic moments just stacked up real quick. Heck, look at what happens when John Who throws the immunity challenge, and he was blown up before he even knew they did that on purpose. Had he reached the final 3, he had a solid chance at winning. Maybe. The problem was that he couldn't win immunities. He was a challenge beast in the pre-merge, but when the less physical post-merge challenges showed up, he didn't stand a chance. Frankly, if he plays both idols correctly, I don't think anyone is taking him to final 3, so his best shot would have just been not to have both idols, I guess. Even then, his threat level is too large and he had no idea how to manage it. Out of 30 strategic moments shown on the show, 14 were smart and 16 were dumb, making James Clement a dumb strategist on Survivor China. Thank you for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. See you all next time.